All right, everybody, let's give it up for our lightning speaker, Jethro.
Hello. All right, so I'm going to have to start with an apology because I gave this talk a couple of weeks ago at PyData and I had 20 minutes to speak. Today I've only got 5. It's a lightning talk, so I've compressed my slides as much as I possibly can. We'll see how this goes. Do yell at me if I feel like I'm going too slowly. Oh, ignore that. I thought I'd updated my slides. So this is an experiment in vibe coding that I did over Christmas, and it's got to a point when it's actually become useful. I've got some buyers, some people that are really going, oh yeah, this is cool. I want to use this thing in in a B2B sort of way, which is pretty nice. So what I want to do is show you the kind of flow that I went through, the things that have worked with Cursor, and kind of build up a picture. I'm hoping to do some interaction here with you guys. Can I get a quick sense just from all of you? I mean, it's literally AI signals. Like, who is like pretty pro using AI tools? Like, finds them pretty useful in their day-to-day flow, like AI agent tools. Right? Who's like? Okay, yeah, that's the majority of them. Okay, is anyone here like kind of? Yeah, they're not really that good. Like, I give them a go. I see the hype, but then okay, fine. Yeah, okay, got one hand saying that. Go on, you can be bold. Come on, you can be out there and you can have. Okay, yeah, okay, cool. All right. Yeah, it's a real group of people, by the way. Don't be fooled. Like, all the pro engineers, all the meta people. They're all like, yeah, it's fine for some small stuff, but like at the same time, it's right. But this thing is worked. It's small enough. I'm actually rebuilding it right now. This is a video. I'm actually going to give you a live demo instead. So I'm rebuilding it because it takes a long time for everything to load. I realized that Leaflet was not the right tool to be using for the map. I should be using something else, but there we go, there's the heat map. So we're looking at a bunch of UK open data. So there are like 15 sources in here. I've got them all in a little info tab, so you can kind of at your own convenience go through. The UK is great at publishing open data, been doing it for years. So like census is one of them. So like it's really granular stuff. Like age, where do you live, down to the like postcode area. Things like your employment, what you do, and whether you're on benefits and your income, like loads and loads of information. In fact, you can get a good idea here just in the sidebar. Like, this is the kind of stuff that we get. So we've been given something random here, which is crime rate. So we go and look, what's it like? Oh, there's a big splodge here. That looks like, right, that's Manchester there. Okay, cool, fair enough. And we've got high crime down in London. Okay, cool. And that's weird. We've got loads of crime over in like Peterborough. What's going on with that? That's interesting. We can zoom in and we can have a look and go, look, there's people. And we've got these synthetic people, and we can have a little chat with David here. And these are all profiles that are based on, I think I'm just using Flash. So that's pretty slow for Flash, isn't it? Maybe it's Pro. I use Gemini, prefer to develop with Gemini here. So the main thing, right? You've got the gist here, you've got all this stuff appearing. Right, lots of data. Was it difficult to get all this stuff in? How long does it take to make this thing? So this would have taken, you can imagine like many months, maybe like a year plus, a lot of like consulting costs. I'll come back to that slide. I opened 0 spreadsheets in the making of this because Cursor, at the time of Christmas, Boxing Day, released a feature which is the browser automation tool, which is absolutely fantastic. So who's explored the browser automation tool with Cursor? Who's discovered what it can do? Yeah, okay, cool, only 3. Fantastic, this is new to the rest of you. So you don't need to go and source your own APIs. You don't even need an API to get data anymore. You can just say, hey Cursor, bro, can you just go find this and download the files, put them locally, and then send them into my database. I use Supabase, I'm a proper vibe coder. It's all about Supabase. And sticks them on my Supabase, and then I just got all the data and formats it all in a way that's easy to query and go, optimize this so I can look at it at the national level, optimize this so I can look at it at the constituency level. It's absolutely fantastic stuff. There's a little sense, again, just in a list of all of the different sources that are being used. They digest that stuff. So it's a bunch of stuff, right? And it took minutes. And literally, I was playing Minecraft, by the way. Did not get to the point of defeating the Ender Dragon this time. My friend gave up before we got there, and so I'm a bit bitter about it. So there's a lot of data stuff there, just to give you a sense of the complexity that it handled. So we've got these things called output areas and local authority districts. These are kind of your lowest level output areas for UK geographies. By the way, we inherited this horrible feudal system which is, so we've got like so many. There's like 15 different like geography like levels, all the way up to like the UK as a whole, and then the sub-countries within the UK, where I thought it was a country already, the countries in the UK, all the way down to like wards, and the wards overlap in super weird ways with the output areas, with the council boundaries. There are like 4 different types of councils. It's insane. And so all of this stuff, I just didn't need to think about. There's all these desperate mappings, and you can just go, bam, just do the data engineering for me, so I don't even think about it, and we get this parliamentary constituencies. By the way, the parliamentary constituencies, they changed in 2021. So the census data, which is published in, wait, when did they change? Oh, sorry, the parliamentary constituencies changed in 2024. The census was published in 2021. So now, if I want to get the data for the latest parliamentary constituencies, it needs to do this mapping. But again, not a problem, don't even need to think about it. I can do it, and I can pop everywhere on the map that you see the data, oh, this has been mapped from there. It's just using a lookup, and I can trace the lookup, all that kind of stuff. Again, don't need to think about all this horrible, complicated data engineering that I would otherwise have to do. And by the way, I got a lovely boo for this at PyData. I didn't use any Python at all. It's all in TypeScript. Yeah, it's all TypeScript. Yeah, go on, boo me. Yeah, I know, yeah. Okay, let me give a sense of who I am now, actually. Or you can stop. So, okay, I started using AI to write code without knowing how to write code. I did like a month doing a data science module at uni, and that was about it. And then I moved here. Newspeak House is also a home, so just upstairs there, I started using ChatGPT to write some scripts. I was a data scientist doing some like Python notebooks. It was very stressful, and it kind of worked out. It was great. And then the models got better. Someone told me about Cursor at some point. I used that before they raised their big seed round. And then as time went on, I thought, well, I definitely should go back and learn how to do this stuff myself at some point. But the opportunity never arose because the models got better and the tools got better at this like increasing rate. And so now I've got like a job. And I work at this company called Curve Vision. Okay. And I'm doing a job, and this is what happens all day. I've ended up becoming pretty good at understanding the architecture, right? So there's this level of like writing functions, writing the individual stuff that I just kind of haven't bothered to do. But you kind of go up above that, and you go, oh right, I can see that this is getting a big file. I can see that oh that's probably not the best like architectural choice for this particular problem. Let's go over it again. Let's refactor. And kind of picking up, bootstrapping how to do stuff better. What kind of mistakes do agentic tools tend to make? So we are. Okay, that's a bit more of the architectural stuff. This was a mistake, by the way. TopoJSON was better than GeoJSON, for sure. Like, you could barely interact with the thing. But there's a big optimizer, and now rebuilding the whole thing, like I said, from the ground up, and using... If you're interested in the library, if you're doing a map thing, then come and find me later, because I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it's not TopoJSON. This guy, OpenRouter, by the way. Who has not heard of OpenRouter? Who is working? Not heard of OpenRouter? Okay, cool. Right, so what this does, this is fantastic. This is what all the OpenClaws are doing these days. It's how you get bulk responses from LLMs. Have you ever thought like, I'm really concerned about the emotional impact that AI might be having on me and my friends. Well, why don't I explore the emotional impact that 1,000 AIs can have on me right now? And you can get loads of responses all at once. So that's how I'm doing a lot of the synthetic data generation, creating all these profiles, like once again, 2,000 at once. It's fantastic, super fast. You can use whichever model you want as well. You can use Llama, you can use really unsafe models, everything. It's great. Okay, another little cool thing. This is a great one, the council scraper. So I had a quick look online. If I want to get the councillors in there, they've got email addresses, that's all public information. How's their attendance? How do they, they rock up to meetings? What are their specific roles? All that kind of stuff. This is all like out there. You can go visit the websites, but it's like every single website was made by a different 16-year-old that just like knew the person that was running for the councillor. And it's like, oh yeah, he could probably do it. And they're all just doing websites. They just built. You want to go and find this? People do sell you this data. You can spend like $2,000 or whatever to buy this stuff. But why not just build a little scraper? And the scraper just does the job. It was fantastic. And then I have all of the councillor data. If anyone needs a councillor data and doesn't want to pay $2,000 for it, then just like come hit me up. I'll just like send you the CSV. Democracy Club, by the way, have also been making an API, and they've been spending a long time on it. I do know, I have spoken to these guys, and actually they are very forward AI agentic developers now, so I'm positive that they'll be rebuilding this thing and doing a much speedier job of it. But the point being that you could do this real fast right now. Did anyone else realize that you can do things real fast with AI? Yeah? Cool. All right, this is, I think, yeah, that's the last slide, so cool. I think this is summaries. Okay, who has been using AI to write code and hasn't used skills files? How simple to use. Who doesn't know what skills files are? Okay, cool. Got a few. Who does and uses skills files? Okay, that's the majority. Okay, let's go. So I was kind of doubtful about this. I was like, this is just like another system prompt at the start. And then I realized that I had like all these prompts, all these scripts that were going like, oh, hey, go like find the data from this like council website and then ingest it into Superbase and then go verify. I had this kind of multi-step process going. So let's just create a skill for it. So at the end of every batch of changes, I could just run a skill file and it does all of my extra, it goes and checks all the data completeness and it does all my linting and it does an architecture check to make sure it isn't making the files super long. All these extra steps, the kind of mistakes that agents tend to make. You can just have a skills file just go through at the end of every batch of changes. Very, very handy. Plan mode as well. I should have a little thing here for plan mode. Has anyone, again, same question, who has been using AI to write their code and has not been using plans? Not been using plans, not been using plans. Who has been using plans? Okay, cool, that's a lot more hands. Excellent, would recommend this. If you're not using them, you should switch to plan mode. If you're using Cursor, it's Shift Tab. If you're using Claude Code, it's Shift Tab. If you're using any other ones, I don't know. But you should get it to plan the thing. Get it to be really, really thorough. Right, think, go back and forth with it. This is the advice from the meta engineers. You need to go back and forth, doubt the plans. Remember, it looks like it's smart, but it is not very smart. It makes really stupid mistakes. You need to read everything. Don't read everything. It's really boring to read everything. But you should read the plan file. It's very important. Why am I going to put that at the end? Everyone knows about rules files. Does anyone not know about rules files? Come on, don't be shy. I know I said it in a way that's, yeah, cool, okay. So rules files, they're it's an extra bit of context. So I use 4 or 5 in every single bit of conversation. So if I'm writing in TypeScript, it'll go and intelligently fetch, oh, I've got the TypeScript rules. Oh, and it's oh, it's doing React, so let me fetch the React rules as well. And it's the kind of mistakes that AI tends to make when it codes in those languages. It'll do use effects, and it'll try and do everything as a use effect, and you end up with these stupid, really hard to debug errors. You end up with the page refreshing all the time. You know that oh, you maximum update depth exceeded. Is anyone familiar with the maximum update depth exceeded error appearing all the time while writing with agents? Yeah. Okay, yeah, cool. So go React files, look at how to use effects, produce yourself. Go and look at the docs on how to use these libraries really well. Create yourself a little rules file to force the AI to do it really, really well every time. And then you end up with some lovely, neat stuff, and your code just becomes better, and you end up with much less debugging. So the kind of whole point here is you need to use a lot of guardrails. I know the whole point of vibe coding is you don't want to be thinking. Right, the whole point you just want to be vibes. You just want it to be really easy. But the whole thing, it will make more mistakes and it will fall over if you do not put tests in there. You need your unit tests. You need to make sure, I've got enough time. Good. Yeah, cool. All right. Okay. You do your unit tests. You got to do your architecture tests. You got to do everything. It feels good. Watching it do to make sure it hasn't made mistakes. Fantastic. Falls over much later. It's a much longer time before you need to go and rebuild your vibe coder project. And that's everything. Cool. All right. Questions from the audience? Yes, up front.
Hi there. This is really cool. I love it. What made you do it?
What made me do it? That's a great question. I was working on a different project, which was sort of tangential. This whole place, Newspeak Council, is all about political technology, so that's where the origin of the interest came from. This specific thing, I was trying to generate some synthetic data to train an LLM in the UK. This guy, Andrej Karpathy, who was one of the founders of OpenAI, yeah, cool. He released the GitHub repository that was the best LLM you can train for under $100. It's very cool. So I tried to give this a go over Christmas. Okay, let's train it on all these British data sets. We use some sovereign AI. This country needs its own AI. Yeah. And that was the point. So I thought, right, let's go get some data, because there's a bunch of data out there, so I can generate these realistic-looking conversations. So it was all about the synthetic profiles to start with. And I thought, well, now I've got the data, I've got this whole pipeline, why don't I just stick it on a map? Turns out that everyone loves data on a map. Really, if you're looking for a thing to produce that you think is likely to succeed as a vibe coded project, put data on a map. Everyone loves dashboards. Cool. Answer your question? Fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm going to go to him first, and I come to you.
Great presentation, very interesting with the data. How do you ensure data is correct? Not just available, it's correct.
Yeah, very, very important question. Yeah. How would you verify that everything was correct, yourself? If you did, are you a data scientist? Are you the kind of person that would think deeply about doing this correctly?
No.
Okay. So like the first thing that I direct people to is the information page where we go over here. Bam. And you go, well, that's it. That's all the sources. And then we can zoom into a place. And we can go, well, it kind of looks about correct. I mean, it's hard to. Feels correct, doesn't it? Well, okay. I mean, can I get some suggestions? Because there's a lot of like guardrail stuff going on here. Is anyone here like a serious data scientist that is looking at this? You've vibe coded the thing, and there's going to be some mistakes in it. I'm sure there's going to be some mistakes happening. Like, who has some like suggestions? Like, how could I verify that? Okay, you're also having someone else point at you, so I'm going to go for you. There's a few hands there. Okay, how should I be verifying that this is correct?
You just ask the AI to do it. You tell her.
You just want to put such a capital there. You're going to ask the AI to do what?
So you have the sources, right? So you can go and look at the data that you're displaying here. Go find it in the data, in the actual data source.
Random spot checks.
And show it to me. And you can actually like spot check yourself, where you can see like an overall comparison. And it can be a different agent that has no context on the data that you built, so it's not like polluted.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. I like that. Yeah, some like little spot checks have like some like data police going.
You have to do anything yourself.
Yeah, that's cool. Actually, you know what? You've reminded me. So when I was like showing an early version of this to someone, we did. I think they were really familiar with the council stuff. They're doing some campaigning. We're looking at. This is what it was. We're looking at some of the council finance data. He's like, that doesn't look right. You know, he had a sense of how much councils spend on things like education and social care. And he got the spreadsheet up and he went and downloaded it and looked at it. And we found that one of the values looked wrong. But the trouble was, it was actually because of one of the remappings, because councils are notoriously the ones. In fact, I can show you the council boundaries. If I go, I think I can show you the council boundaries. Actually, no, sorry, I haven't got them in this version. So the council boundaries tend to they have these really awkward other overlaps. They're the exact thing from the feudal system that really they're not the same thing as constituency boundaries at all. So I was just remapping them onto the constituencies. And so the value looked incorrect, but was actually a good, was a good representation of the, I think it was just population-based remapping. Has anyone else got more suggestions than just asking the AI to do it? Or should we just move on to another question? Another suggestion. Who's got... You at the back, you've had your hand up.
Yeah, I've got two suggestions.
Okay, cool.
The one is for, I guess in terms of your data sources, I mean, obviously, you build some sort of like a preference list. So for example, we did a bit of a similar piece of work on that, and restricting to say, for example, using so we were doing food safety authority stuff. So we said strictly pull the data from, let's say, government provided APIs, something like that. But the other thing is that if you want a cool way to do quality control on data that is visualized, is that in the background, if there's like a JSON store where all the data is, you can set it that whatever is highlighted now, show me the full record associated with that. It doesn't quite look right. You can see the full mapping to the original data, but like in a table that's brought up alongside the visualization.
Yeah, that's helpful. I mean, I guess the funny thing is that it basically that's exactly what's happening. It's downloaded the spreadsheets and it's put them straight into Superbase. This is the data put on a map. I think it will be hard for there to be extra errors added in. I also want to point out, because it looks all lonely in the middle here, we've got Northern Ireland over there, we've got VK over here, we've got the poor Isle of Man. I discovered making this. There's no data on this. They don't even have their own MP. They have this MP, who they didn't elect, who represents them in Parliament, and they just have this sort of multi-parliamentary system that just kind of going. So great. Anyone here for a Manx person from the Isle of Man?
No, but they don't pay tax, so... Yeah.
What? They don't deserve data, do they?
They don't want to do
Alright, you with the stroking shirt, I promise you a question.
So, I've got two questions. Firstly, do you watch Map Men?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And secondly, who is the user? What is the need that you're providing for?
Yeah. Okay, so you notice there's literally a sign in button up here. I'm not going to sign in because these are private features. So there's a campaign going on somewhere in the UK. There's some by-elections happened. It's not by-election. So there was just a by-election, Gorton Denton. I did do some Gorton Denton stuff. So where is it? Sort of in Manchester. This one. This whole weird, funky Frankenstein-looking constituency right here. This part here is all Reform, and this part here was Green / Labour, and then all the Labours technically went Green. Yeah, that was how it happened. So I did a little bit of work for them doing that stuff. And the same people also like, we've got another one coming up. There's some local elections coming up soon. So there's another one, and they want me to do some bits of data analysis. They really care about the synthetic data. They've got this sort of thing. They're all into like, how can we like not pay people to answer polls? That's really expensive. How can we just get LLMs to do it really fast? So that's what OpenRoot has been very useful for. Yeah. All right, Tava. Well, hold it. Look. You can ask me questions anytime. I know you. We'll come back to you.
Reverse favoritism.
All right, go on. No, I'm going to insist.
I'm curious how you approached the generating synthetic, populace, and keeping an eye on the intersectionalism of the identities that you were creating.
Ooh, the intersectionalism of the identities.
Because if you're just looking at, we're looking at, say, age and gender, right? You can make sure that on those two factors, you are representing, on average, the population in a given area. But if you're adding a huge number of other variables, you're ending up with a patchwork where some people may not exist. It could be very easy for, depending on how you slice it, you get something that looks right, but the individuals may or may not be.
Yeah, this is actually, you know what, I should have put a whole slide for this question, because this is actually super important stuff right here. We've got all of these different properties of people. How do they interact with each other? We've got all this census data. Say there's 20, 25 fields, bit information about people from an area. And there will be some this person who's between this age bracket is wanting to have this kind of job. All this relation is probably all over the place. You might have dependencies across 5 different variables. That's a really hard problem. And I've done a little bit of that in some of the special work here. But I've done some basic stuff. I've got some realistic sort of UK names. I've made sure that Linda's not going to be a man, that kind of thing. So there's some basic stuff, but there's a lot of important interactions that kind of are not being modeled here. So that is on the backlog. There's a lot of things I feel like I could do with this, and yes, important question. Though for some of the chats, not in this version, unfortunately, I did something that I thought would be quite fun. I went and did some cognitive neuroscience research. That was my undergrad. I did neuroscience. I thought, wow, cool! I can make them think about how people think, and turns out there's some brain areas of people reasoning about politics that they'll think maybe they're more of a reasoning person, maybe they're more of an emotional person, maybe they're more of an identity protection sort of person. So I can have them reason in these sorts of ways, depending on the kind of question they might be provoked. What I'm yet to do is validate any kind of way in which this person that maybe a reform voter is more likely to feel like an identity threat, or maybe someone that's this kind of voter is more likely to think in this kind of way. So those have been really interesting interactions, and those I have not got. There's not data out there to validate, and that will be a very cool thing for me to do and self-decide. So yes, exactly that. Those relationships, some of them are available and not put them in, and some of them are out there to go and be created and discovered. Yes. Wait, this is your second question. You've already asked me one question. Can't you? Okay. Atabi, you're waving your hand. Go on, you can have a question. Go on.
About the references, they're spreadsheets, right? So you can just do a simple referencing-based system at the end of the sources, and it's collapsible. So you can just have a preview of the lookup table.
Oh, yeah, a preview. Yeah, look up the original data. That's cool. I like that. Yeah, that's nice.
That's why you should give me a chance to, ask questions.
You want to be my marketing guy, anyway. All right. How long do I have by the way?
So just a recommendation: consider GeoServer for the map data, GeoMap Cache for caching the map data, and possibly Solar for open search.
See what we've got. Yeah.
Because you mentioned Leaflet is not right for you, and Leaflet is actually a decent library, but you need to look into the back-end mapping. I've got some experience.
Three-phase rebuild here.
Is this crowd-driven vibe coding right now?
I know. We've got these plan files. Get rid of them. Okay, know what, this is too much on screen. I was trying to be flashy, but we can have a look and we can figure out how cursors decided to do it, and you can see if you agree or not. Be great. Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry. Okay. Then I'm going to disappear. I know how to use Git. Yeah, I'm a vibe coder. I learned how to use Git basically. Yeah. All right, I think that's it. That's all the time I've got. Thank you very much.